Good evening, all of you. Welcome to Ashok IT. In the last session, we discussed about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. Whatever the infrastructure that is required to set up our application deployment, that we can take from cloud providers available in the market. If you want to deploy one application to the public users, you need to set up a lot of servers, you need to set up the database, you need to set up the load balancing, and you need to do a lot of network configurations. For that, you need to spend a lot of time and lot of money. To overcome that problem, instead of we are setting up the infrastructure, we are going to use cloud computing concept in our projects. What is this cloud computing? Cloud computing means somebody will provide the infrastructure for our project. They will deliver the services over the internet. We will use their services to run our applications. Instead of we are purchasing and maintaining the servers, databases, network, power, we can take them for rent. And how these cloud providers are giving the services to us? Are they providing the services for free of cost? No, they are providing the services based on pay as you go pricing. Cloud providers are giving the services based on pay as you go pricing. There are several advantages of going for cloud computing. Pay as you go, whatever you use, for that only you pay. You no need to pay money for unwanted or unused services. Whichever the service you are using, you pay only for that service. Pay as you go. And the next one is low cost. Cost is less. If you want to set up the infrastructure, you need to purchase a lot of things. Here you no need to purchase all those things. You can take for rent whatever you want, you use it, you pay for what you use. Highly scalable, highly available, highly reliable, security, unlimited storage, and backup also will be available when we go for this cloud computing. Okay, now AWS. What is this AWS? Amazon Web Services. Why we will call it as Amazon Web Services? Amazon company providing the services over the web for the IT companies. There are so many IT companies are available, right? Hundreds, thousands, lakhs of IT companies are available. TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, HCL, Deloitte, Capgemini, Cognizant, like that n number of IT companies are available. All these IT companies are developing the project. To develop the project, they need some infrastructure, they need computers, they need servers, they need a database, they need security, they need storage, they need power, they need a network. Lot of things are required if you want to develop a project. Instead of you are purchasing that infrastructure, AWS, that means Amazon company, will provide you that infrastructure over the web. Web means internet. Amazon company is providing the infrastructure over the web. That's why it is called as Amazon Web Services. Amazon company providing the services over the web. That's why it is called as Amazon Web Services. This Amazon Web Services providing the services from 2006 onwards, almost almost 20 almost 2006 2016, 10 years, 10 plus 4, 14 plus 2, 16 years. Almost from 16 years they are in the market as cloud provider. They are providing the services over the cloud. That's why they are called as cloud provider. AWS having 200 plus services, guys. Whatever the service you want for your project, you can use it. AWS is not forcing to use all the services available in the AWS. Do you want a database for your project? You take only database. Do you want a servers for your project? You take only servers. Do you want storage capacity for your project? You take only storage capacity. Okay, do you want a network security? Then take those services. AWS having 200 plus services. Whatever the service you want, you can use it, right? AWS providing services over the web from 2006. Now we will call it as cloud computing. This AWS providing the services for 190 plus countries. 190 countries are using AWS services. AWS is leading in the market. There are so many cloud providers are available. Out of them, AWS is the market leader because of the features or advantages are available in the AWS. Clear with my point? So you understood what is AWS? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Amazon company providing the services over the web. That's why it is called Amazon Web Services. What services they are providing? IT resources, security, network, power, storage, computing, all these things they are providing. In 190 countries, people are using AWS. AWS having 200 plus services. Out of the 200, maximum we are going to use 15 to 20 services in a project. I have listed down very frequently used and demanded services in the AWS. Those are EC2, S3, RDS, DynamoDB, Route 53, EBS, VPC, Load Balancer, Auto Scaling, IAM, Beanstalk, CloudWatch, Lightsail, SNS, SQS, SES, like that there are so many services are available in the AWS. Out of the services, these are frequently used services in the AWS. If you want a database, go for RDS service. If you want a storage, go for S3. If you want virtual machines, go for EC2. If you want domain registrations and all, go for Route 53. If you want additional storage for a computer, go for EBS. If you want a load balancing for your application, go for LBR. If you want to deploy your application by AWS platform, go for Beanstalk. If you want to monitor the performance of the services, go for CloudWatch. If you want a private network for your application, go for VPC. If you want to handle huge traffic, go for Autoscale. If you want to go for SQL database, RDS. If you want a NoSQL database, DynamoDB. Like this, for different purposes, different services are available in the AWS. That's why I'm telling AWS is providing 200 plus services. Out of those 200, these are frequently used services. These are demanding services in the market. Yesterday I have explained in the demo session, I have explained the details of all these services. Okay, now let's move on to today's topic, guys. Today we need to understand cloud services. There are cloud providers available, right? Guys, who are the cloud providers available in the market? Who are the cloud providers available in the market? Can you please tell me who are the cloud providers available in the market? AWS is one of the cloud provider. Who is a cloud provider available in the market? AWS is one of the cloud provider. Similarly, we have Azure. Azure is one of the cloud computing, and we have GCP, and we have Salesforce. We have Salesforce. AWS is one cloud. AWS is one cloud. Azure is one cloud. GCP is one cloud. Salesforce is one cloud. So these are clouds. Now, who is providing this AWS cloud? Who is the AWS provider? Can I say Amazon company? Can I say Amazon company? Yes, Amazon is providing this AWS cloud. Amazon is providing this AWS cloud. Are you able to see my whiteboard? Guys, are you able to see my whiteboard? Are you able to see my whiteboard? I'm drawing on the whiteboard, guys. Can you see my whiteboard? You want me to draw it very clearly? Huh? Is it visible for everybody? Visible, na? Yeah. We have so many cloud providers available in the market. One of the cloud provider is Amazon. Amazon company providing a cloud called AWS. That is what we are going to discuss in this session. And we have Microsoft. Microsoft company is available, which is providing a cloud. That cloud is called Azure. What is the cloud providing by the Microsoft, guys? Microsoft cloud is called as Azure cloud. And we have Google. Google is also available in the cloud computing. Google cloud is called as GCP, Google Cloud Platform. And Salesforce company is available. They are providing their own cloud platform that is called as Salesforce. That is called as Salesforce. These are famous clouds that people are using in the market. AWS, Azure, GCP, Salesforce. AWS providing by Amazon company, Azure providing by Microsoft company, GCP providing by Google company, Salesforce cloud is there that provided by Salesforce company. The company name itself is Salesforce. Now, sir, what these clouds are doing? What is the difference between these clouds? What kind of services these clouds are providing? Now, guys, we can categorize these clouds into three types, guys. One is called IaaS, second one is called PaaS, third one is called SaaS. IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. Next one, PaaS. PaaS stands for platform as a service. And SaaS stands for software as a service. SaaS stands for software as a service. Okay, now let's talk about what are these cloud services. What is the difference between this IaaS, PaaS, SaaS? So you understand, right? What is the meaning of IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS now? Are you understanding my point? What is the services available? There are three types of cloud services are available. First one is called IaaS. IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. There is another cloud available which is called PaaS. PaaS stands for platform as a service. And there is another type of service available which is called as SaaS. SaaS stands for software as a service. Software as a service. Okay, now let's understand what are these clouds, which one we need to use for our project. Now, guys, are you using Google Drive? Are you using Google Drive? Anyone using Google Drive to store your data? Are you using Google Drive to store the data? So, did you develop that Google Drive functionality, or it is developed by Google company? The drive is developed by who developed that Google Drive? Did you write the code to develop that? Did you write the code to develop that? Google company developed it. Google company developed it. Okay. Are you deploying that application? Are you deploying that application, or Google already deployed that application? Google already deployed that application. What we are doing here, we are using existing project. The project is already developed by Google. Google company developed the code for that. Google company deployed that. We are using Google Drive. We are storing our data. We are using Google Drive. We are storing our data. How much data we can store in the Google Drive? By default capacity of Google Drive is what? 15 GB. So they developed one application. In that application, you can store the data. Google Drive is for storage purpose. What is the purpose of Google Drive? That is used for storage. Now, you have not developed it, you have not deployed it. Directly you are accessing the project, existing project you are accessing. You are storing your movies, you are storing your files, the class videos, class notes, your materials, your photos, your marriage photos, whatever the data that you want to store, you can store into Google Drive. Who is managing your data? Google company managing your data. 15 GB space they are providing you to store the data. This is the application we are using, which is developed by Google. That means Google providing a service called SaaS. That means they are providing software as a service. What the Google company is doing, guys? Google company providing software as a service. This is Google Drive is one example. Can we see another example? Can we see the another example? Can you see another example for software as a service? Can you anyone tell me another example for software as a service? Guys, now tell me, how are you attending the classes? How are you attending these classes now? How are you attending these classes? Which is software we are using to conduct the classes? Zoom application we are using. Zoom application we are using to conduct the classes. Ashok IT conducting online classes by using which software? Zoom software. Who developed this Zoom software? Did I develop the Zoom software? Am I the owner of the Zoom software? No, I'm not the owner of the Zoom software. Every month, I am paying 8,000 rupees for Zoom software monthly to conduct online classes. Monthly, I am paying for one Zoom account. For one Zoom account, I'm paying 8,000 rupees monthly. Then I am using the Zoom to create the meetings to conduct the classes. Can I say Zoom is providing SaaS? Can I say Zoom is providing software as a service for me? Gmail, can I say software as a service? Can I say software as a service? And can you do you know about a project called Dropbox? Do you know a project called Dropbox? Yes, we are using. So if you are using the software which is developed by somebody for your requirement, that is nothing but software as a service. That is nothing but software as a service. Are you guys able to understand what is the meaning of software as a service? Some company developed a project. You are using the project. You are using that project. That is nothing but software as a service. This is one of the cloud service. This is one of the cloud service. Very good. Software. But what is the problem in the software as a service, guys? Do you have a control? Do you have a control on the Zoom? Can you customize the Zoom software? Can you customize the Zoom software? No. Can I customize the Zoom software? No, I can't customize. Whatever they are providing, I have to use it. That's it. Can I tell to Zoom people, hey, please modify that functionality? Hey, please modify that functionality. Can I tell to the Zoom people to modify that functionality? No, no. It is a application which will be considered as a software as a service. Zoom company developed a project. They are giving the project as a service for the public. People are using the Zoom to conduct the classes. People are paying money for the Zoom monthly. If you want to use a Zoom account, basic plan in the Zoom is 1500 per month. Basic plan, 100 people can join in the meeting. 100 people can join in the meeting if you pay 1500 rupees for the Zoom. If you want 500 people with the webinar, then you need to pay 8,000 rupees per month. Currently, we are conducting the classes in the webinar in the Zoom. Monthly, 8,000 rupees we have to pay for the Zoom. So that is the software as a service. They developed a software. They are providing the service. We are using it. Similarly, Salesforce is a project which is a cloud software as a service. Which cloud is comes under software as a service? Which cloud comes under software as a service? Salesforce cloud is available. Which cloud is available, guys? Salesforce cloud is available. That Salesforce cloud comes under software as a service. I hope you understand. In IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS, you got the clarity what is software as a service? Somebody developed a project. We are using that project according to our business. We are using the project developed by somebody for our business. They are providing a software for you as a service. How they are providing the software as a service? Through internet. You are creating an account in the Zoom. You are paying the amount for the Zoom. You are using the Zoom software to conduct the classes. Similarly, Salesforce is also one project. Similarly, Salesforce also one project. If you want to use Salesforce Cloud to store your customers' data, CRM, Salesforce CRM is available. Salesforce is a American cloud-based software company headquartered in the San Francisco, California. It provides a customer relationship management software and applications focused on the sales, customer service, marketing automation, analysis, and application development. So this is the cloud. Salesforce is a cloud which is used for customer relationship management for your customers. If you are dealing with a business where you are doing the sales, then you can go with the Salesforce cloud. You can go with the Salesforce cloud. Salesforce is one application which is already developed. Salesforce is one application which is already developed. You can use this application to manage your customers. You can use this application to manage your customers. So this is software as a service. Salesforce is a cloud which belongs to SaaS, nothing but software as a service. Very good. Now let's come back to what is platform as a service. Now let's talk about what is PaaS. PaaS nothing but platform as a service. Simple guys. Now I want to run my application. I want to run my application. For my application, I need a machine. I need one computer. I need a PC. Machine is required. One computer is required. In that computer, I need one operating system. I need operating system. And for that computer, I need a network. And I need power for that computer. I need power. I need a network. I need operating system. I need operating system. And I need server. And I need server. So if I want to run my project, I need a computer. In that computer, I need operating system, and I need a server, and I need a network for that computer, and I need a power for that computer, and I need a security for that computer, and I need a security for that computer. So this is the platform I need for my project. This is the platform I need for my project. Then what I will do, I will just keep my code here. I will just keep my code. I don't know anything about the infrastructure. I'm just a developer. I have my source code. I want to run my code. To run my code, I need a platform, guys. In order to run my code, I need a platform. There are the providers available in the market who will provide you all these things. These things will be taken care by cloud provider. These things will be taken care by cloud provider. Computer, power, operating system, server, security, network, everything they will take care. You manage this code. You just take the code, you give that code to the provider. Provider will prepare the environment for you to run your application. This is called platform as a service. What is this kind of service is called? Platform as a service. That means whatever the infrastructure is required to run your code, they will provide you. You just develop the code and give it to them. You just develop the code and give it to them. They will prepare the platform for your code. This is called platform as a service. This is called platform as a service. Who is providing this platform as a service? AWS is doing this platform as a service, and Azure is doing this platform as a service. PCF cloud is available, that is also doing the platform as a service. AWS will provide you that kind of platform to run the project. You no need to bother anything about the infrastructure. You no need to know that also. You just develop your code, give it to AWS. AWS will run the project. AWS will prepare the platform to run your project. Who will take care of the infrastructure? Do you need to bother about the computers, power, network, server, security? Nothing. Whatever the platform is available, whatever the platform is required for your project, AWS will manage that platform. You just concentrate on the development. You concentrate on your business. You concentrate on your business growth. Platform will be taken care by AWS. Similarly, Azure also can do. Azure cloud also can provide you the platform to run your application. You just give your code to Azure. Azure will prepare the infrastructure. You just infrastructure is ready. Infrastructure is ready. You just keep your code there and plug and play. Platform as a service, nothing but plug and play. Whatever the code you have, you keep it and run it. That's it. That is a platform as a service. AWS is providing the platform as a service. Azure is providing the platform as a service. PCF is providing the platform as a service. Now, do you understand what is the meaning of software as a service? What is the meaning of platform as a service? Software as a service means they already have the application. They have the platform. They have the application also ready. You just use their application for your business, like Google Drive, Dropbox, Salesforce, Gmail, all these things. They are already having that application. They have the infrastructure. They have the application. You just use that application. That is called software as a service. When it comes to the platform as a service, you develop your code and you give that code, plug and play. The platform is ready. Platform means environment which is required to run the project. What environment is required to run our project? Computer required, server required, Operating system required, network required for the computer, power required for that computer, security required for that computer. Everything they will provide you. You just take the code and give it. You just give your code. They will manage the platform. That is platform as a service. If you don't want to struggle about the infrastructure, then you can go for platform as a service. AWS will support for the PaaS. People will call it as platform as a service. Azure also will support for the PaaS. PCF also will support for the PaaS. Are you clear with my point, guys? Next one. What is the next one? Infrastructure as a service. Before going to understand the infrastructure, guys, if you go for this platform as a service, who is deciding the platform? Are you deciding which operating system, which is server? Who is deciding the platform here? Who is deciding the environment? Are you deciding the environment? Are you deciding the environment? Or AWS will decide the environment here? AWS will decide the environment. They will provide you the platform to run your application. Guys, I will, someone is asking practical example. Practical example means I will give you in the live sessions, man. That means I need to deploy, I need to take some code and I need to deploy. I can't give the live demo now. In the AWS, there is a concept called beanstalk. In the AWS, there is a concept called beanstalk. When we comes to that beanstalk service in the AWS, I think I have already given in the PPT that slide. In that slide, I have mentioned the service in the AWS. There is a service called beanstalk service. Na? In the beanstalk service, you use it for platform. That means if you have a Java project, you give it, it will run the Java project. If you have a PHP project, you give it, it will run that PHP project. You have a .NET project, give it, it will run that project. Beanstalk service in the AWS will provide you platform as a service concept. That means you just upload your code. You just upload your code. Beanstalk will provide the platform to run your code. That is beanstalk service. We are going to discuss the beanstalk. I will tell you beanstalk with 5 different technologies. I will tell you all these beanstalk with 5 different technologies: Java project, Python project, Node.js project, PHP project, different technology based projects. I will run in the AWS using beanstalk. I will show you practical examples there when it comes to the beanstalk service. So today we are talking mainly about what is this infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, based on the code, based on our code, they are going to configure the platform to require platform which is required for our application. I hope you got my point. What is software as a service and what is platform as a service? Guys, are you able to understand what is platform as a service and what is software as a service? Is it clear? Are you able to follow me, guys? Are you able to follow me? Software as a service means they will provide the platform, they will provide the application also, you just use it. You just use it. Okay. Example, best example, Google Drive, Dropbox that you are using to store your data. That is software as a service. All right. Now, what is the platform as a service? What is platform as a service? Come on. What is the meaning of platform as a service? Can anyone tell me? What is the meaning of platform as a service? Whatever the platform is required to run the project, they are providing. Infrastructure they will give the environment. You just take care of the code. You just take care of the code. They will give the platform to run your project. Okay. Next one, infrastructure as a service. This is very important, guys. What is this? Infrastructure as a service, which is called IaaS. It is nothing but infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service means what? You need to, AWS will provide you servers. AWS will provide you servers. AWS will provide you database. AWS will provide you storage. AWS will provide you routing. AWS will provide you routing. AWS will provide you VMs. That means AWS will give you everything. AWS will give you servers. AWS is going to give you servers. Now, AWS will give you virtual machines. AWS will give you server. AWS will give you server. AWS will give you virtual machine. AWS will give you storage. AWS will give you database. You take all these things. You take the database, you take the server, you take the routing, you take the storage, you take the VM, you prepare the environment. You prepare the environment and you take your code and you run your code in the environment. AWS is giving the infrastructure, but you need to configure the things. AWS will provide you infrastructure, but who need to configure the infrastructure? AWS is having services. For a database, they are having a service. For computers, they have a EC2. For storage, they have a S3. For servers, they have a softwares that we have to install. They will provide you a VM machine, virtual machine, they will provide you. But who will configure the things? Who will prepare the environment? You have to prepare the environment. That is, they are just providing the infrastructure. They will just provide the infrastructure. They will give you computers. They will give you servers. They will give you database. They will give you routing. They will give you storage. They will give you security. You connect the dots. You prepare. You do the settings. You do the settings. You prepare the infrastructure. Then you run your application. So here more chances are there for the customization or not. AWS deciding which server we need to use, or you will decide which server you need to use. AWS is deciding which server you need to use, or you are deciding which server you need to use. We are deciding which server we need to use, which operating system we need to use. Customer will decide that. So here there is a chance for more and more customer. How you want, you prepare your environment. How you want to prepare your infrastructure, you prepare like that. AWS will give you the infrastructure. You set up the infrastructure and you run your application. That is called infrastructure as a service. AWS meant for infrastructure as a service. AWS came into market with the IaaS model, guys. AWS came into market with the IaaS model. AWS came with the IaaS model. That means they will provide the infrastructure. You set up that infrastructure and you run your project. Sir, someone is asking how it is different from the platform. Platform nothing but complete setup they will do. You no need to do all this setup manually. In the infrastructure, you have to do the setup. VM is available, database is available, storage is available, routing is available, servers are available. They will prepare you just to run your project in the platform. But in the infrastructure, your code is there. Directly can you run your code? Directly can you run your code? No. You need to set up the infrastructure. You need to set up the infrastructure. Once you set up the infrastructure, then you run your project. That is called infrastructure as a service. Who is meant for infrastructure as a service in the market, guys? Who is meant for infrastructure as a service? AWS is meant for infrastructure as a service. But AWS is coming with only infrastructure as a service. AWS is providing platform also as a service. AWS is giving only infrastructure. AWS is also giving the platform for the users. AWS supports for both IaaS and PaaS, guys. AWS is supporting for both IaaS and PaaS. Are you getting my point? What type of services that AWS is providing for us? AWS is providing only IaaS, or AWS is providing both IaaS and PaaS? Can you tell me? AWS is providing only IaaS, or AWS is providing both? Come on, guys. AWS is doing only IaaS, or AWS is doing both? When you go for AWS cloud, when you go for AWS cloud, AWS is supporting for both. AWS is supporting for both. You can use the AWS cloud for IaaS and you can use the AWS cloud for PaaS. AWS cloud is providing infrastructure as a service for you. At the same time, AWS is providing platform as a service. AWS is meant for IaaS guys. Initially, AWS became very popular in the market because AWS providing the infrastructure. Later, Azure came into market. Azure providing platform. If Azure providing the platform, AWS and Azure competitors. If your competitor providing one extra service, do you also need to provide that service for your customers or not? So that's where AWS introduced one service called Beanstalk. In the AWS, there is one service available which is called Beanstalk, Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, Elastic Beanstalk service is equal to platform as a service in the AWS. Basically, AWS is meant for infrastructure as a service, but as a competitor is providing the PaaS, AWS also providing the PaaS. AWS is also providing the PaaS. Which is service is providing the PaaS in the AWS? Elastic Beanstalk service available in the AWS, which will provide the platform. Now, let's just check in the Google what is Elastic Beanstalk. Let's check what is Elastic Beanstalk in the AWS. What is this Elastic Beanstalk? What is this Elastic Beanstalk? Elastic Beanstalk is a easy to use service for deploying and scaling web applications and services developed with Java, .NET, PHP, Node.js, Python. If you have a web application, you use Beanstalk to run that project. That's it. If you have the project ready, then you just use it. Then you run your project on the Elastic Beanstalk. Easily you can deploy your applications by using Elastic Beanstalk. Easily you can deploy your applications by using Elastic Beanstalk. Are you guys able to follow me? AWS is giving you infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Is AWS providing software as a service? Is AWS providing you any application? Guys, is there any application in the AWS which we can use? No. AWS is providing the infrastructure as a service. Cloud. Infrastructure. That means if you want to set up the infrastructure as per your requirement, then go for IaaS service. If you want the AWS to give the platform, then you can use Beanstalk service in the AWS. You just upload your code. AWS will run your project. That is called Elastic Beanstalk in the AWS. Okay. Are you guys clear with all the three models, all the three types of services which cloud providers are giving? Cloud providers are giving infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Now, AWS is providing infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. Azure also providing infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. GCP also providing infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. But when compared with Azure, GCP and AWS services price is less. The cost of the billing in the AWS is less for the services when we compare it with Azure. That's why most of the people will go for AWS cloud for their infrastructure. Most of the people are using AWS cloud for infrastructure nowadays. GCP also providing cloud infrastructure. Now, can you see what is a GCP? Can you see what is a GCP? Google Cloud Platform. Google Cloud Platform offered by Google is a suite of cloud computing services that runs on the same infrastructure that Google uses internally for its end user products, such as Google Search, Gmail, Google Drive, YouTube. All these applications are running on the Google Cloud only. Google Cloud Platform is available. Okay. And we have Azure. Who provided this Azure for us? Microsoft. Who provided Azure? Microsoft Azure, often referred to as Azure, is a cloud computing service operated by Microsoft for application management via Microsoft managed data centers. Microsoft managed data centers. Are you guys getting my point? Azure. From when the Azure available in the market? In the 2008. From 2008. Who is the early bird in the market? Azure is early bird in the market, or AWS is early bird in the market? AWS is early bird in the market. AWS is early bird in the market. Okay. From when the Google cloud came into market? From when the Google Cloud came into market? This also 2008. So who came into market for first? Who is early bird in the market? GCP or AWS or Azure? AWS came into market first. See that? AWS. 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 Okay, fine. So with this, we understood what is infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and what is software as a service. Guys, are you clear with my point? What is the meaning of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service? Now, can you see the comparison? Now, can you see the comparison? Here, guys, when it comes to the infrastructure we can divide into two types. One is on-premises infrastructure. On-premise nothing but you purchase everything, you set up on your own. You purchase the computers, you purchase the network, you purchase the storage, you purchase the operating system, you purchase whatever the softwares are required to run it. You purchase it, you set up it. Then it is called as on-premise. On-premise nothing but we are managing our infrastructure. See here, this side, left side, on-premise box is available. That means networking, storage, servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, application, everything you manage. If you manage everything, then it is called on-premise infrastructure. That means you are not using any cloud service. Every software that you want, you purchase on your own. You spend the money and you purchase. Then that is called on-premise infrastructure. There are some companies who will go for on-premise infrastructure. On-premise infrastructure means you purchase the computers, you purchase the servers, you purchase the database, you recruit the people, you purchase the operating systems, you set up the infrastructure, you run your project, you manage everything. That is called on-premise infrastructure. Guys, nowadays companies are going for on-premise infrastructure, or companies are not going for on-premise infrastructure. On-premises means what? On-premises means what, guys? On-premises infrastructure means what? Can anyone tell me? On-premises infrastructure means what? Everything we have to do. Everything we have to do on our own. If we do everything on our own, what are the problems? If we do everything on our own, then what is the problem? If we do everything on our own, what is the problem? If we do everything on our own, then what is the problem? More price, more charge, lot of things you have to purchase, lot of time you have to invest. For example, you have purchased everything, you have configured everything, your business is not running. Then if your business is not running, then come on, your business is not running, then waste of resources, waste of money. So that's why nowadays companies are not interested to go for on-premises infrastructure. Now let's talk about SaaS first. Let's see SaaS. Do you need to do anything if you want to go for SaaS? Do you need to set up anything if you want to use SaaS? They have already developed project. Now, if you want to conduct online classes by using Zoom, do you need to do anything? Do you need to bother about network, security, power, servers, operating system, network, database? Do you need to bother anything if you want to use Zoom for online classes? Nothing. You just pay 1500 rupees per month. You just pay 1500 rupees per month for the Zoom and you use the Zoom application. That is a software as a service. They developed their project. They are giving the service of their project. They are providing the service for the people. You no need to do anything. That's why this box is saying as It is managed by vendor. Who is managing that, guys? Who is managing SaaS? Vendor will manage the SaaS. Customer don't need to do anything. Customer will no need to do anything. Customer will just use the project developed by somebody that you are going to use it. Software as a service, that is called SaaS. SaaS. Next, come to platform as a service. Guys, the red color boxes means that will be managed by the cloud provider vendor. If you are using Azure, or if you are using AWS, or if you are using GCP. Suppose if I am using AWS cloud, then AWS is my vendor. AWS is my vendor. If I go for platform as a service, what is your responsibility? You just need to develop your application and you need to set up the data that is required for your application. That's it. Runtime environment, middlewares, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, network, everything vendor will manage. Everything vendor will manage. That is nothing but platform is providing by the vendor. You just focus on your application. That is platform as a service. When it comes to infrastructure as a service, infrastructure, they will provide you servers, they will provide you storage, they will provide you network. You take which operating system you want, which runtime you want, and you develop your application. You use their softwares, you set up the environment, you need to run your application. So here vendor will manage a few things. In the IaaS, they will just to provide you the softwares. You need to configure everything, you need to prepare the runtime, and you run your application. That is infrastructure as a service. See the difference. Which things will be managed by the vendor, which things you have to manage on your own. On premises means everything you have to take, you have to purchase everything, you have to set up everything on your own. That is called on premises infrastructure. If you go for IaaS, they will provide you few softwares, you configure those softwares, you prepare the environment, you run your project. And if you go for platform as a service, you just focus on your project. Platform they will give you, you just run your project. If you go for software as a service, everything they will give you, you just pay the money, use their project. You just pay the money and use the project. Now, are you able to understand the difference between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service? Come on, guys. Yeah, somebody is asking what is virtualization? Virtualization, nothing but, sir, installing multiple operating systems in one machine. Virtualization. You can virtual machines you can create. Virtualization. Virtually, they will provide you everything. And virtual machines, you can create virtual. You can't see the machine, but you can use it. You can't see the machine, but you can use it. And virtual servers, that means you can't see the server, but you can use it. Middlewares, some routings will be available. Mule ESBs is a middleware software. Apache Camel is a middleware software that they will configure to establish the connections from one application to another application. Middlewares will be available. Load balancers will be available. Load balancing middleware server that we need to set up for our application. All these things will come into that middleware part, which will establish the connectivity. Middleware nothing but which will establish the connectivity. Runtime means the platform. Someone is asking AWS is IaaS or PaaS or SaaS? AWS is what, guys? AWS is IaaS or PaaS or SaaS? Karthi Muthu is asking that question. AWS is SaaS. Oh my God. What are you listening, man? Are you sleeping? Half an hour I have explained. What is IaaS, what is PaaS, what is SaaS, and what AWS is doing. Half an hour I have explained. Diagram also is there. AWS is providing infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, Baba. AWS is not software as a service. AWS is IaaS and PaaS. AWS is giving you infrastructure. to run your application. AWS is giving the platform to run your application. Sir, I'm not talking about AWS shopping portal. I'm not talking about e-commerce application of AWS. I'm talking about AWS cloud. Sir, we can purchase the mobile in the AWS na. There is a software na. Can we call it as a SaaS? I'm not talking about online shopping, guys. I'm talking about the cloud related to our projects. I'm talking about the infrastructure that is required for our project. I'm not talking about AWS portal where you can do online shopping. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about AWS cloud, which will provide the IT resources for you. AWS is providing IT resources for you for your project. AWS can provide infrastructure as a service for you. AWS will provide platform as a service for you. How the AWS is providing these services to you? AWS is providing the services through the web. That's why it is called as Amazon Web Services. Okay, AWS, nothing but Amazon Web Services. AWS Cloud providing infrastructure, IT resources to develop your project. Can you use Amazon shopping portal to develop your project? Can you use Amazon shopping portal to develop your project? Then why are you talking about that here? That is online shopping, that is e-commerce, guys. That is completely different story. I am talking about IT infrastructure, which is required for my project, servers, database, security, network, power. I'm talking about that. Now, if I want to deploy my application, what is required? I need computers. If I want to deploy my application, I need a computer and I need a server and I need a database. I need a network. I need power. I need storage. Okay. I need security. I need security. I need backup. Can you get all these things from e-commerce of AWS? Can you get all these things from AWS Amazon Prime website? Can you get all these things from Amazon Prime? Can you get all these things from AWS shopping cart? Can you order a backup from the AWS? Can you order power from the AWS cloud? Then why are you talking about that? That is different, man. I'm talking about AWS cloud that will provide you on-demanded IT resources for you. How the AWS these all are the IT resources that I need to run my project. These all are the IT resources I need to run my project. How AWS providing these IT resources? It is providing the IT resources in two types. One is infrastructure as a service. Another one is platform as a service. Infrastructure means they will give you everything. They will give you everything. You configure it on your own. If you don't want to configure on your own, then you go for the platform. You just run your project. So AWS comes under IaaS and PaaS, not SaaS. You got my point? So are you able to understand the difference between cloud infrastructure, on-premises infrastructure? Are you able to understand the difference between cloud infrastructure, on-premises infrastructure? What is the difference between cloud infrastructure and on-premises infrastructure? Come on, boys. What is the difference between cloud infrastructure and on-premises infrastructure? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between cloud infrastructure and on-premises infrastructure? On-premises means we have to purchase everything and we have to configure everything which is required for our project. Cloud infrastructure means we will use the infrastructure for rent. We will take the infrastructure for rent. Understood? Sir, Amazon portal is one application where you are setting up the infrastructure. Where you are setting up the infrastructure. That is just a user interface to set up your infrastructure. It is not software as a service. Amazon portal is a web application where they are providing the options to set up the infrastructure. For that, we should not call it as software as a service. Na? Okay? Good. Fine. So with this, I hope you guys got the clarity. So what we discussed so far in our sessions, guys, what we discussed so far in our sessions, as of now, we understood, application architecture. Application architecture. In the yesterday's session, we discussed about application architecture, and we discussed about load balancer. We discussed about load balancer. Then what is cloud computing and what are cloud advantages? Cloud advantages. Today we discussed about infrastructure as a service versus platform as a service versus software as a service. Then we discussed about what is AWS. Then we discussed about AWS introduction. We discussed about AWS introduction. AWS services introduction. AWS services tour. These are the topics. These are the topics we covered yesterday and today. Application architecture means every application, every web application will follow client server architecture. Client will send a request, application server will handle that request. Client server architecture will be available. Load balancer. Distribute the load to multiple servers. Distribute load to multiple servers. Clear. Cloud computing means getting IT resources over internet. Getting IT resources over internet. That is cloud computing. There are so many advantages are available. Low cost, pay as you go, availability, scalability. So many things are available. IaaS, PaaS, SaaS we already discussed. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. What is AWS? AWS cloud. AWS cloud. AWS is market leader in cloud computing. AWS is market leader in cloud computing. AWS providing services, providing 200 plus services since 2006. Providing 200 plus services since 2006. 190 plus countries are using. 190 plus countries are using AWS cloud. In AWS, we have several services. 200 plus services are there. EC2 we have seen. S3 we have seen. RDS, DynamoDB, Route 53, VPC, SNS, etc. Like that, there are 200 plus services are available in the AWS. The people who missed yesterday's session, you can watch that video in our YouTube channel. The people who missed yesterday's video, you can watch that in our YouTube channel. Okay, guys. Now, in the YouTube channel, I have uploaded that video. In the YouTube channel, we have uploaded that video. Got it? Yes, right. This is our YouTube channel URL. So here, yesterday's AWS introduction video, I have uploaded almost 1 hour 40 minutes. We discussed on the AWS yesterday. That is just introduction part for what is cloud computing, what is AWS. The people who missed it, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Then you can go through that video. That is our YouTube channel. You can watch the video from the YouTube who missed yesterday. So today what we have discussed so far, today we discussed about what is infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and what is software as a service. On-premises infrastructure means everything you have to purchase and you have to manage on your own. Infrastructure as a service means they will provide you some components. You need to set up the environment to run your application. Now, if you go for a platform as a service, you just focus on your project. They will prepare the environment to run your project. If you go for software as a service, everything they will provide you, you just use it. You just use it. Are you clear with my point? All of you? Yeah. Next one, guys, AWS told that AWS is providing the infrastructure for 200 plus, almost 190 plus countries. 200 services are available. How this AWS providing the infrastructure for 190 plus countries? In the AWS, there is a concept called regions and availability zones. We need to understand AWS global infrastructure. How AWS is providing the services worldwide. What is the reason behind that? That we are going to discuss in the tomorrow session. What is a region in the AWS and what is availability zone in the AWS? That we are going to discuss in the tomorrow session. Is it okay, guys? Is it okay for all of you? Fine. Now it's time for questions and answers. If you have any question, you can raise your hand in the Zoom. Now you can ask your question. I'm happy to answer all your questions, guys. Please raise your question. Raise your hand in the Zoom. In the Zoom, there is the option for, guys, you don't worry about this. Notes I have already prepared. Soft copy material is available for that. I will share that soft copy material also. For AWS sessions, I have already soft copy I have prepared. I will be sharing that soft copy. For every topic, I will prepare the note. I have the notes. I will share that notes with you guys. You don't worry about it. Yeah. Today's video you can watch again. I will upload in the YouTube. Okay.